We're in the closet. Nope, tight squeeze. Good. Oh, yeah. Wonder what the weight limit is on this chair. Alright, I'm going to answer two questions. Question number one, am I in a closet? Yes. Question number two, am I wearing a safari hat? Yeah. But this is what you fucking wear when you're ready to go on a fucking adventure. What's up, everybody? Just doing a little hand review inside my closet because there's no other good place to do it. I'm not sure. Anyways, I decided to play a little online poker today. Just trying to switch it up a little bit. Although I do prefer live over online any day of the fucking week. But, you know, something different. I'm at home. I'm bored. Fucking fire up the online account. Alright, so we're two-tabling, 10 cent, 25 cent, no limit. And some people might be like, oh, well, that's micro stakes. Of course it is. But you can still learn from it. It's still poker. It may not be people that know what they're doing, but any chance to learn anything about poker, you should always take advantage of it. Always. It doesn't matter. Don't have an ego about, you know, what size the games are because you think you're not going to learn anything. I just feel like you can learn anything from any game. That's it. That's all there is to it. All right. We start here with pocket nines, middle position. Folds around to us. We make it 50 cents. It's sort of a tight table, except for number 8. Eight's really putting the pressure on when there is, or when he has a premium hand. As you see here, he 3-bets at 210, which is pretty big. I mean, if you think about it, it's 10, almost 10 big blinds. Okay, 9. 9 big blinds. Like, that's pretty big. In a normal game, like a 3-bet to 9, actually, I lied. It's really not that big. I don't know why it just feels that big. It's 4 times my bet, but I only mid-raise it, so I don't know. I decided to call, but normally when somebody who bets premium hands, normally I like to err on the side of folding this hand. The thing is, we're heads up, and he is on the button, so he could be making a play from the button. I mean, look, anything's possible. I don't have a lot of history with this guy. I've only been at the table for a couple minutes, but I feel like it's a pair. He could easily have ace king, ace queen. I mean, he could easily have something like ace 10, ace 9, and just be 3-betting, trying to pick up the pot right there. So we make the call. Yeah, as soon as we make the call. I'm in the tank. Here we go. That's a call. Okay. Gin, as they say. Fucking gin flop. It's 9 high, 2 diamonds. Yeah. It's pretty self-explanatory that we don't want to bet into our opponent. He 3-bet pre-flop. Chances are he's c-betting on a... It's not a dry board, but it's not a super wet board. Especially for the hand ranges that we should have in a 3-bet pot. Like, we should have 10s plus, ace king, ace queen. Like, both of us should have these hands. So, if he's thinking like that, 100% of the time, he should be c-betting here. So, of course, we hit the check button. And it is up to him. And he's going to wager 405, which is pretty much a pot size bet. It's a pretty large bet. And what goes through my head right here is stack sizes. I mean, I only have $15 in front of me. He bets $4. Yes, it's the pot. Now there's $8 in the pot technically, but I only have 15 behind. So if I call, I only have $9, and then there's 12 in the pot, 12 and change. Actually, yeah, there's 12 and change. So it would make for a very awkward stack size when we get to the turn. Like, you never really want to have less than a pot size bet left in your stack, because it sort of like pigeonholes you as far as what you can do. Like, it's really tough to make a move or get somebody off a hand or get value out of a hand when you have less than a pot size bet behind. So I decide that if he does have a premium pair, that he's never folding, and if he has ace king, ace queen of diamonds, he's also never folding. So I decide to shove here, and luckily he snap calls with aces, with the ace of diamonds, so he does have an overpair and a backdoor flush draw. And turn is an 8, which basically he's drawing the 2 outs, and he doesn't get there, and we scoop the pot. So pick up a nice little pot, and we move forward. We're going to do one more hand review to end the video. I decided to start playing PLO because, I don't know, sometimes I get bored of No Limit. You get 2 cards, there's only so much you can do. Like, of course, there's a lot that goes into the game, but sometimes I feel like, you know, when I get 4 cards, the possibilities are pretty much endless. You can make a lot more moves, and it's not as predictable, I guess you could say, as No Limit. Plus, I feel like everyone at No Limit table's a genius. So, you know, listen, it's easy to make a living playing No Limit if you play super tight, but that's not my style. I like to play a little looser. I like to get 4 cards, and here we go. We're gonna review this PLO hand. So I have 7, 8, 9, 10 single suited. First act under the gun. The thing is, a couple things. My flush draw here is pretty much irrelevant. Like, essentially, I'm just trying to make it straight. And I love 4 connected cards, regardless if they're suited or not. Of course, I would love it if they were double suited, but the problem is, in a 4-card game, a 9 high flush is not always the best flush. So you have to definitely step carefully when you are playing with a 9 high flush draw and you hit a flush. You gotta be super careful. You can't really be pushing the action with that kind of hand. And also, we're under the gun, which is terrible, especially in a 6-handed game. But I think that the hand that we have is very it's very diversified. Like, I want to see a flop with it. I want to get money in pre-flop, and there's a number of things that can happen. I mean, I got 7, 8, 9, 10. If I bet here, they can give me credit for an ace, king, queen. They could give me credit for aces. They could give me credit for kings, you know, double suited. So if I raise pre-flop and we get to the flop, it's either I'm going to connect huge with the flop or I'm going to miss the flop. It's going to be ace high, king high. And then we can still bet because we're raising big out of position. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. We can represent the big cards and also bet when we connect huge with the flop. And they're really not going to put us on that so much. So that's like the beauty of PLO, is that, you know, you can make moves like that. So here we are, 7, 8, 9, 10, single suited. I pot it out of position. It's at 85 cents. I get 1 caller. He's in the cutoff, and then the big blind ends up calling. So flop like this, for example, it's king 4 deuce 2 clubs. Like, we can easily have ace king queen jack, ace king queen 10. We could have kings. We could have even ace 4 4. We could have the best flush draw. We could have so many things here that if you're not c betting on a flop like this, then you're just missing out on a lot of value. So the big blind's going to check to me. And I like to bet bigger here. Bigger meaning like not half pot, but really as close to pot as possible. Because you want to make it look like you hit a king, or you have a big pair, even like ace ace blank blank, and you want to bet big to make it look like you're trying to get a flush draw to pay for the flush. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're going to automatically put me on a big card, kings, aces, because I'm betting so much. So I bet 207, which is pretty close to pot. I get one caller, and the big blind decides to come along as well. So now the pot's $8, and there's a jack on a turn. Now, automatically, yes, of course, we picked up a gutter, so we have a little bit of equity, but our hand is essentially trash at this point. But, like I said, we have so many more kings and jacks in our range than everybody else, and it feels like, just by the way they flatted the flop bet, that they have draws. Hopefully they're both on clubs. This way we can put in another bet, and hopefully one of them drops out, and hopefully one of them goes for the flush draw. This way our not our actual range, but our perceived range is so much stronger than our actual hand. So what we do here is the big blind's going to check to us, and we're going to think about it for a minute. But like I said, I mean, you want to really represent, like, my mouse is over the check as if I sort of thought about a check. So we bet 518, which is a little less than 3/4 of a pot. And like I said, we have so many kings and jacks in our range that they have to give us credit for it. So the guy in the cutoff decides that he is going to... He's thinking about it. He's really thinking about it. And he flats. And the big blind can no longer continue. So it's exactly the situation that we want. All we have to do is fade a club, in my opinion, because we have everything else except for a club in his mind. So you're playing a psychological game here where his flush draw is the only thing that he thinks that if he hits, he's good. When in reality, all we have is 10 high going to the river with a gutter ball. That's all we have. All right, so the river comes out jack of hearts. Now, like I said, it's a situation where we could have smashed that river. I mean, we could have a boat. We could have any jack. We could have still aces and jacks. I mean, there's so many possibilities that are in our range that are not in his range, that I feel like, especially being out of position, I feel like it's definitely a spot where we should be shoving. And we sort of set it up where I bet 3/4 of a pot on a turn. I could have even bet a little bit more. But the problem is, had I potted it, then I would have been left with $8, and there would have been an extra 3 plus his 3. There would have been an extra 6. So the pot would have been 24, and I would have had 8 behind. So it would have made it easier for him to call. But I feel like our bet sizing on the turn was pretty good because now it's set us up for a decent amount, which is like a little over like 2/3 pot. So actually, not even 2/3 pot, but a little over half pot. So it's going to be one of those situations where he can either call with a king or he can put us on. He can even right here. He can fold a king. I mean, he could have king queen, 10-9, two clubs, and he has to give us credit for a better king, or aces, or a jack. It's just or a full house. It's really a situation where a club bricks the river. Is any card except for a club is going to be a great card for us. So I decided to shove, and he pretty much insta-mucks. And that's how you pick up a pot playing PLO right there. You have to essentially represent a big hand and tell a believable story from the beginning all the way through to the end. Once you stop the story halfway through and stop telling a believable story, that's when players will try to take advantage of that weakness. And basically, we take down a pot with 10 high. Guaranteed he had the best hand. All right, guys, it's 12:30. I got to get some fucking sleep. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoy what I'm doing. I really do. If you could put some suggestions in the comment box, that would be awesome. And I'll continue making videos as long as you guys keep watching them. So you guys have yourself a good night.